Yo, what's up? What's good? This is the Awesome Twosome podcast where we're full of charm, double the fun, and I'll go by the name Shulak, aka the Go Getter, aka the Pace Setter, aka Mr. Watch This Pace. Pew pew pew. Joroge Modoni, she is creatively US African Kahunatic, is not around. She had some business she needed to take care of, so hange me Cleo. But we are good to go. We'll be cruising nicely. I'll be flying solo today, and we'll be cruising nicely at an altitude of good vibes and inshallah per second per minute hadi episode iishe. Na leo nataka kuanza na disclaimer kwa boy child. If you're not aware, mali ya serikali imefunga shule, wako nyumbani sahi. And if you're floating, naongelea wase wa high school. Unajua siku hizi, I don't know if you've noticed, sijui kama ni GMO ama nini inaendelea, watu wana grow at a higher rate in comparison to back then. Sahi dem ako 16, 15, akikwambia kwa 21, 22 wezi kata. Watu wana grow na nashuku ni GMO. Utapata hizi vitu tulianza kukula kitambo before watu waanze kusema wamezi approve. But so watu yuko shule, kumbuka sahi pia vile tume advance, watu wako more free, watu wanaenda klabu nini, so pia unaweza kuwa klabu umeenda kuteka uchukue mali ya serikali, and remember that can land you a jail sentence, a big one in that matter by the way. So dema kikamko wako anakam kama mume ID hivi, hiyo ndo kama nini ya kuswipe ndo ufungue ile nini ya pale chini ama umletini. But that aside, nimekuwa home the past weekend. It was a long one. Nilikuwa nimeenda kidogo kudecompress, calibrate, get my focus back, and it was a nice ride by the way. And I got to learn, I got to notice a few things which I wanted to share today. But before that, before nianze recording, nimeona South African rapper Casper Nyovest has married his childhood friend kwa zile za Mungu. Kwani kuna watu wako made for this na kuna watu lazima struggle ikue, because how do you marry your childhood friend in this day and age? Mimi hata nikitry kuangalia kikaumana naweza sema narudi home nioe nani. Man, I'm out of choices. But kuna watu wako na bahati huku nje. So like I was saying, nilikuwa home, noticed a few things here and there, spent time with my family, my mom to be specific, my dog, his name is Mhesh. It was fun. Alafu at some point, mom just started complaining. Ile tu out of nowhere. And it was not intentional. Nile tu unapata mmeka hivi mna have conversation, ana throw in a word. Ingi anafanya tu vitu zake around the house, ana throw in a word. And she was complaining because she's now unable to do a lot of things that she was able to do easily in the past. Umenipata? And she was just ranting on and on and on. Na mimi was just brushing her off because I'm like, you are busy, extremely busy actually, from Monday to Friday. Sasa Saturday, Sunday, sini rest day. Alafu considering your age, unataka kuwa na energy ya kufanya nini ingine sahi isipokuwa tu kurest na kufanya tasks tu kidogo kidogo. But then she went ahead complained tena. Then we went over to her friend's place. The friend is not that old, ako tu amemkaribia but si vile, kuna like a 10-year age gap hapo. And she was still complaining about the same. And now, after hearing it from a different perspective, it now started sinking in. Na nakumbuka on the drive back home, nilikuwa tu nakaa kidogo naangalia mama, yani ilikuwa inakaa ni kama slow motion, ni kama movie yani. And it just hit me that by the way, she's getting old. Our parents are aging, and it's not something I can say any one of us is ready for. Yes, unajuanga watu watazeeka, but ni kama mtu akwangia ameaccept kuna mahali itafika wanze kulemewa to do certain stuff. Because you see, for me, my mom is that type of woman who she's in the corporate world na bado anapenda mambo ya farming. So for me growing up, weekends were not for going out. Weekends were not fun by the way. Weekends zilikuwa yani ulikuwa unaona Saturday imefika hivi kidogo unaanza kugonjeka hata during the holidays. You at least Monday to Friday unakuwa unacheza vile unataka. But for us growing up on Saturdays ilikuwa siku ya kwenda shamba. Now that's the task that my mom uses to decompress. Yes, she has the ability to pay a farmhand to come and do all of that, but there's some joy she gets in kusaidia tu. Okay, let the farmhand come, acha achimbe mitaro, sisi twende hapo, kila mtu na bucket yake ya waru tuweke fertilizer, unanipata, kama kuna beans zitawekwa. That was a weekend for me, a typical weekend for me. You wake up on Saturday, heavy breakfast, kila mtu wapi? Kila mtu shamba. And she was energetic, yani mtu alikuanga na energy. By the way, we will spend like almost a whole day, juu tuseme tumeingia shamba 9, tutatoka around 4. And now the treat was, akiona tumelemewa sana, sugar levels zimeenda chini, sasa anaendea queen cakes na soda za kudanganyilia around 1-2 hapo, juu anajua if we decide to go home and have lunch, hakuna mtu anarudi, mmoja alale, mwingine apotende kwa beshte yake. So just to be safe, to have that safe bubble, alikuwa na sneak her way out of the shamba, anamwambia sijui nimeendea nini, anakimbia town center hapo, anabuy soda na queen cakes, I remember, na maybe bananas, ama kama tulikuwa tumebeba bananas tukitoka home, anakaa mtu na queen cake na soda. Then that was our moment to just rest nini, piga story. Of course mlikuwa mmekosana, kwanza kama mimi nilikuwa mtu wa kuteta mbaya, ilikuwa ina depend na mood. There was a time kuna time nilirant, yani kidogo nipigwe kwa hiyo shamba. Nakumbuka mahali mnalima watu wanapita, si ile shamba ya compound ya home. Sasa hii ni another extension nje, ni kama shamba za kanju tuiweke tu hiyo, then you are given a slot. Unapatanga kila mtu kwetu, kila mtu ako na place ya kanju, especially when you walisettle mapema and you don't pay for it, nile tu aliallocate mapema. So apart from the home shamba, kuna hii nje. Na kuna time nilirant, yani ilikuwa helter skelter, ndio unataka kupiga, unakimbia tena, unaamburudi hapa ama usilale kwangu, narudi. So na try tu, nilikuwa tu na reminisce all that energy she had. Aya, fast forward, vitu zikaanza kuchange. Of course ukikam after tuseme high school hivi, culture inaanza kuchange. Now you find that the farm hands are doing more of the work, so nyenu ni kidogo tu. Nikaanza kurealize hapa ndo energy ilianza kudip, juu maybe weekend unataka ulale kidogo. And in that moment I just realized that itu nimekuwa nikihepa for long, it's actually happening. She's growing old. That's my mom. My mind now switched to my dad, who is already retired. Both are civil servants, they've worked for the government their whole lives. So my dad has already retired, he's about to clock 70. Nikaanza tu kuangalia, I have a couple of photos of him in my gallery, and it really also started thinking in that mzai kidogo anazeeka. Nikaangalia the last time we were with him, hata ngozi tu najua inakuambia the mannerisms you have, yani man, it's sad. Yes, you are happy, it's also a paradox because you're happy they are alive, yes, but the fact that anazeeka inaanza kuwa sad. Unaona ni kama huyu mtu ati sasa ataenda, and it's just like I don't know if there's a name for that phobia, but hey man, it's tough. Ebu look around, just consider your mom sahi, your dad sahi, and look at them back then. Imenikumbusha hata time fulani I was in high school and Migos were the thing your time, I remember, in hip hop, and they had their banger, ilikuwa inaitwa walk it like a talk it. So it was walk it like a talk it, walk it like a talk it. I remember sometime tuko kwa shamba, energy levels zinaenda chini, ni past 2 your time but we are almost getting done. Energy levels zimeanza kushuka na kuchangamsha mom, I had to do a Kikuyu rendition of that song. So ilikuwa kitu kama, nilikuwa namwambia aseme kitu kama dare mira bebe, dare mira bosho, as in nalimia mahindi, nalimia beans, and they go back to that and they just realize that cannot happen sahi. But then notice hata home, ile kama hiyo time nilikuwa home, at times if she needs me to do some tasks for her, like some manual labor, si vile kitambo ilikuwa ni mimi na yeye, ananiambia tunaenda kufanya hivi na hivi. right now it's nahitaji unifanyie sijui nini, namwambia sawa, then you wait, alafu anatoka anachukua simu anaingia YouTube anasikiza preachings zake, ama anafanya tu kitu easy like maybe sorting out the cereals, kama kuna beans hapo, kama kuna peas azitoanishe tu, ama akamtua kae around mali unafanya hiyo task akupe story. So it's just a lot, man. It's just a lot of mixed reactions. You are happy first of all, kuna hiyo privilege ya they are alive, because ukiangalia a lot of people have that void because their parents left at an early stage, ama either at an early stage, ama when they were just about to make it, ama when they just made it alafu they died. So in my situation, I'm a last born, sindio, family of 5. I looked at it, she's clocking 59 this year, so she's just about to retire. Then it just hit me, what am I doing with my life by the way? Okay, there's the podcast, there's the music, and there's the media career, but like huyu mtu anazeeka na bado hakuna like a major breakthrough, you know, because you all know that we all hope and pray that our parents will be alive ile time utaomoka, seti na complain na kuchunga, but you also like want to give back hata to the little things, umtumie pesa ya chama, unanipata, sponsor maybe a weekend getaway for them, then you're like yo, that is just about to turn 70, ndo huyu mam naye ana clock anakam clock 60, nothing seems to be really giving. Yes, kuna two signs, there's some hope that maybe it will work, but still nothing. Then you sit and wonder, is she okay? Are our parents thinking the same thing? If you're privileged enough for you to see your parents in their old age, say, are they maybe thinking the same thing? Do they have the same pressure that hit me when I realized that, by the way, my mom is aging, my dad is aging? And the thing that made me feel a lot of guilt is thinking that I'm making them feel like failures. Unanipata? So on one hand, I'm feeling like I'm kind of a failure because you look at this setup, 5 people, 4 wawasha, they've already given, give back nini, so there's that joy of a parent knowing that, by the way, mimi, my kids are sorted, they don't even need me. Then there's you, the last born. Actually, you've been pampered your whole life, yani wewe hakuna mali unajua wewe ile kuteseka, unajua in real sense hakuna kuteseka, umeteseka. It's an easy walk for you juu vitu mingi unapata washa kama ni parenting washa fine tune. I mean, umengangana na vinyangarika 4 before, you already know hapa ndo huyu mjamaa ataanza kuwa rebellious, hapa ndo mademo wataingia, hapa ndo maybe drugs zinaweza, you feel me? So there's that experience. So as a last born, you grow up feeling nothing but love, alafu you are pampered with all the nice things. Hata kama your parents are not ati wealthy, they give you the best, up to the best, they do the best, they give you the best up to a certain point, ile level wenye wanaweza fika. So you compare the others before you and you realize that, by the way, wewe sasa ndio uliishi maisha London. Hata kama times mtu complain akukosange, hakuna mtu usema ati hajateseka, hata mimi utapata nikiteta, but you know, look back and realize that you are actually given the best of the best. So back to my point, here I am feeling like kind of a failure. On their end, am I making them feel the same? These were just some of the thoughts that were running across my mind. I'm like, okay, huyu asharetire, anaangalia trajectory nini, of course hata wako na checklist zao, so family wise have managed to do this and this, my kids the best education, all of that, and now kuna mmoja ama kuna mtu tu amestall, because they thought it also must be a sad affair for them knowing that you are raging na kuna mtu hapa bado haja manage kujishikilia. Actually there was a time my mom told me, yani nimebuild hizi connections zote na siku manage kubuild connections za side ya media. Sasa hiyo kungekuwa tu mahali uko sorted, you feel me? Then you go back and you're like, oh God, now your mom is feeling like a failure again because of you. Then you come back, you look, you're doing everything in your power to manage to escape the matrix, but still, okay, it's the process, you understand? But then you're like, do they really deserve that peer? It's overthinking, I know, but is it really fair? But anyway, that aside, hiyo nayo ni cho kidogo nimeoverthink sana, but naangalia tu hivi na ndio mtu anazeeka. It just hit me that this is the point where they really need our love. And kawaida tu yetu the African setup, it's very hard for you to go and tell your mom, oh I love you, to tell your dad, oh I love you. Kidogo ina coming offers. But what if you could do the best you could just to show love to them? Kienda home, help out, unanipata? Check up on them, see historia they have to call, ama you only call when you need a favor, ama when you need money, when you need something, unanipata? But what if we just give them the best at this point? Because yes, they've lived their life, si ati imeisha, but for the better part of their lives they've been the ones giving, they've not been really receiving anything, kuongea tu kweli, isipokuwa tu the little love. Unajua pia kuna point unakwanga rebellious, yani unajuanga tu una stress mama yako na una stress baba yako nini. Isn't this the perfect time for us ama for you to just like start giving back yenye tu unaweza, hata kama ni just showing love. Unaenda home, do the simplest of tasks. Maybe when you go home you're like me, you want to live like a king, utaki kupika nini, hiyo siku tu una call before toke job unamwambia usi stress story na sapa tunakula nini. Hiyo ntasort, nanipata. Go out for walks with them, tell them silly stories about maybe your career nini, your love life, just kitu tu ya kuwachangamsha. Yani joto sidhani una realize una get old, but man, it's tough knowing that this once energetic person is now slowly aging away. Ndo huyo we hapo. Man, it's tough. It even got me thinking of my grandmother, because yes, I make frequent visits, but it has never dawned on me that, by the way, this woman is in her 80s. Huyu mtu anazeeka, unaangalia by the, yes, energy inakaa nikaa bado iko, but even from the conversations, it's now you start seeing things, you start viewing things from another dimension. Yani unakaa tu hivi na watu vitu in slow motion, akipika hapo story mnapiga, ukimobserve tu akifanya vitu zake hapo, realize by the way, huyu mtu amezeeka. It is not ati kitu, it is age kidogo, huyo si teenager, si nini, mtu ni mzee. Then you realize by the way uko privileged sana, you have a grandmother who is still able to stay independent, unanipata? She doesn't need anyone to take care of her. Yes, family members, the uncles, the aunts are there, kuna wenye wanaishi around, but she is able to do everything. Majority of the things anajifanyia. She can fend for herself, cook for herself, she still goes to the farm, hata akiambiwa asiende, unanipata? There's still that kind energy in her. But again, you just start realizing that by the way mtu amezeeka. Anza tu kufikiria vitu in slow motion, na by the way, with each day, hizi ni sunset days zina approach. If hayuko kwa sunset days, basi zina approach, and the moment it sinks in, like I said, it's a cocktail of emotions. Happy, sad. Happy because you are privileged enough to have them, because they are lucky enough to be, and blessed and lucky to be alive, to be strong. Hakuna story na hosi kila time. But again, sad because you know where this is headed to, you know. And again you realize that kwa hii maisha si age inafanya mtu aende actually. Being young does not mean that I cannot die anytime. Naweza toka tu hapa nje ni slide, naweza nyonga ugali vibaya ni choke, naweza choke in my sleep, anything, yani accident, anything. And you start realizing that even though they don't say it, at this point mali washaanza kuelekea 60 ama washagonga ka 50, this is the point where they now start needing us. Unaona, ni kama hata mtu unafaa tu kwanza kujiprepare psychologically that they've been there for me all their lives, it's not time for me to be there for them. Unanipata? Yeah, and like I said, it's a cocktail of emotions, because now you start even getting scared of things you're not supposed to be getting scared of. Things like death, you're like, okay, what if I precede them? Who will take care of them? Unanipata? Yes, you have siblings. Okay, what if we all precede them? Any, hey, to ni tough. But hiyo ndo kitu tunataka kushare. Yani as time goes by, to realize too that these people, the people we love the most, our parents, our grandparents, they are slowly aging, they are slowly transitioning. And if you are lucky enough to follow the biological clock, ile bila mavisanga mingi, ile ya age, you know that they are slowly approaching their sunset days. And it's time we now realize that. It's time you now realize that your mom, your dad, your grandmother, your grandfather, if you're privileged enough to have them being alive. And for others, it's even our elder siblings. Unajua kuna familia unapatanga maybe uko 20 na uko na sibling ako 50. If it's such a case for you, it just starts dawning on you, and it's time you realize that these people have been there for you all your life. They've showed up for you, and it's no time to reciprocate, regardless of regardless of the relationship you have, because again it's not all rosy. Tunajua mambo ya familia inakuanga mambo ingine ngumu sana, yani unaweza pata maybe you're not in good terms with your parents, with your grandparents, with your elder siblings, unanipata, but now you realize si ati ni juu nataka, it's because you have to, you really have to. You just swallow your ego, swallow your pride, and show up for them, because who knows, time is taking, yani anything is possible sai. But again, it was a good experience. But I'm still feeling overwhelmed because of this. But I know maybe hata by the time this episode is going up, nitakuwa nisha settle in, juu nitakuwa na like a week hapa, itakuwa isha settle in, but that hizi si vitu ziko in my control. They'll grow old, yes, I'll also grow old at some point. Itakuwa hapo, if I begin my own family, hata mi at some point itakuwa kwa hiyo stage, naangalia naona, oh, these are my kids, have I done the best for them? Because again, I'm approaching my sunset days. So what I'm trying to just convince myself is that these are things that are out of my control. Hakuna vile mama wangu ataishi kwa 50, haizi. Even if I have all the money in this world, hata nikuete ikuna kwaje, she'll still grow old. The same for my dad, there is no way I can rewind his age nimlete afike kitu ka 50 hapo, unanipata, ile ija wagonjekangi, yani kale kaya, na bado wako energetic. It's out of my control, it's beyond my control. But I've just realized that the best I can do right now is, if I have any misunderstandings, to just swallow my ego, swallow my pride, try to mend any bridges. Ama just make peace, just making peace with the fact that maybe hii side hatutaielewana, but just showing some love to them, because I feel like they really need it the most sai, hata kama hawajui. Because to them, sidhani hata mi nikifika 60 kuna mtu atani convince nimezeeka aje sasa, ama 70 ati mtu anakuja kuniambia unaenda wapi? Mimi in that age bado najua mi ni mbwembwe. But yo, hey, life, no one prepares you for this. No one prepares you for this. But it's a cocktail of emotions, sivyo tu naweza sema. But you just go look at your parents, your siblings, your grandparents, and just appreciate that life has been good enough to you up to this point, bado wako hapo. And again, everyone's prays that before these people leave, everyone's prayer is actually that we hope that we never leave before them. Unanipata? Because again, you know that the greatest pain a parent can go through is burying their child, unaona. So there's that prayer that I hope I never leave before them, and I hope they never have to take care of me again. Unajua juu pia na ile, if anything can happen, you can become decapacitated, yani upate umekuwa tu cabbage fulani, unajua vitu zio happen, sickness nini, so unapata tena wao at their old age wanakuchunga kama ule newborn wao back then. So there's also that. And again, I know that deep down we all hope that these people never leave us, but the reality on the ground is at some point they will leave. If you're blessed enough to live longer than them, si wataenda, of course. You're blessed enough to not to live longer than them, as in to live long enough hadi wazeeke kabisa. Hey, kizungu mkuti, but you get what I mean. Deep down we all hope that they never go, but we know that at some point they will go. Alafu the saddest thing is that you know that death has no warning. Death has no warning. I remember when my grandfather passed away in 2018, he was actually making progress. Hata alikuwa amerudishwa home, and the guy was strong enough, hakuwa na dementia, yani alikuwa tu sawa, he could do a couple of things for himself. Then ndio amerudishwa home. See, I remember I was actually doing my, it was a few weeks to my KCSE. Then the teacher on duty comes, ananipata kwa cubicle, ananiambia the principal wants to see you. Kidogo nikajua bas kuna mahali ulichoma. Sasa hizi ni zile swara za principal kutafutana nawe ama kutumia kama example to the other form 4s. But then kufika hapo I find my dad and the eldest brother and the principal wanakaa tu chill. But then again the news that came was that, by the way, the big man, your grandfather, is gone. Na mimi from a conversation I had had with my mom before, nilikuwa najua by the way mtu ashapiga full recovery. Sasa nitungoje sasa aendelee, unaona, yani hata kwa akili hakuna mahali ndiko imeni hit. This guy is 90 something years old, clock isha tick. Juzi nilikuwa na watch news and there was this ambassador, what is his name, Eric something, but you can just go look it up in the internet, utaipata. We had an ambassador, a foreign ambassador mwenye walikuwa na celebrate, it was either 102 ama 104 years. So they were celebrating either the 102nd ama the 104th birthday for their mother. They remember even as Mashari was present. Ukiangalia, yes, she's bedridden, na hata keki anaumishwa, hujui kama hata manage kuuma, but you can see the happiness in the face of the family members for just seeing their mom hapo. These are fully grown men, unaona mtu ako 50, huyu mtu ni jamaa sangu, but there's that joy in just seeing their mom. Yani mama ya mtu ataishi kwa mama ya mtu, baba ya mtu ataishi kwa baba ya mtu. But it's high time, by the way, if you are around, kama uko hizi age zangu, early 20s, mid 20s, but again it depends with, okay, like for me, mimi ni last born, so but either way, wewe angalia tu wazazi wako sahi, niache tu ianze tu kusink in mapema that by the way there's nothing you can do, but they are growing old. And it's time you now start preparing yourself psychologically to start stepping up and just doing the little things, showing them love. Si ati unamshow love ndo aende, don't get me wrong, but ni ile tu unajua they need it, hata kama waisemi, but subconsciously they actually need it. Yep. And that's it for this week's episode. That was just something that came across my mind, and I decided, why not talk about this, why not share this. The awesome twosome is, oh, before niende tunakuwa na ka segment fulani. So for your motivation of the week, the first step is usually the hardest. As they wind up, the first step is usually the hardest. But then for us to take the first step, for us to take the first step, we usually wait for the perfect conditions, which actually do not exist. Unataka vitu zialign vizuri ndo take the first step. Kama ni maybe kutafuta job, unataka uko in the rated space ndo uanze kutuma ma CV ama kuapproach maofisi, it doesn't work like that. Fitness the same, unataka yani tunatakanga sana perfect conditions ndo to make that first step and we start moving, but like I said, perfect conditions don't exist, so you just take the first step, hiyo tu ya kwanza, and trust you me, utapata hiyo energy na momentum along the way. Juu ukiendelea tu kukaa mahali yuko, utakuwa tu kikabeji fulani, utakaa tu hapo, no growth, no nothing. And time waits for no man, time waits for no king. So regardless of who you think you are, just take that first step, because time does not really actually care, and the world does not care what you're going through. So take the first step, and remember that in the long run, it's you against you. It's not you against your peers, ama your siblings, ama your close friends. Unanipata? Yep. The Awesome Twosome podcast is available on all social media platforms: Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok. The Awesome Twosome podcast official on all social media platforms. Personal handles: Instagram, Limas Shulak; Twitter, Son of Mbugwa; TikTok, Shulak _ And this has been the Awesome Twosome podcast, where we're full of charm, double the fun, and I've been your boy Shulak, aka the go-getter, aka the pace setter, aka Mr. Watch This Space. Pew pew pew. Tuonane next week. Peace.